you also cannot profit from that. And so we seize those profits.
Due process.
So do we need any legislation or any executive orders for that, would you say, Dan, to put that back in business?
I don't think we need any executive orders. We just need kind of some encouragement to move in that direction.
Good. You're encouraged. I love that answer, Chris. That's better than signing executive orders and then these people take it and they make it look so terrible. Oh, it's so terrible. I love it. You're encouraged, okay? Good. Asset forfeiture. You're encouraged. Okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. President, we appreciate you having us here today at the White House. My name is John Cherry-Biddick, and I'm the sheriff in Monroe County, Georgia. I'm a past president with the National Sheriff's Association as well. I currently chair our Governmental Affairs Committee. And I just want to thank you for the administration working actually on pieces of legislation and on political ideas with us. It's refreshing, and we are thoroughly enjoying it. We are currently working with Senator Grassley on some criminal justice reform issues, and the administration has been supporting us. And,
yes.
The asset forfeiture is a big thing.
Okay, go for it. And just go for it.
I think
Dana will tell me if I can't do it, then we'll start doing it.
Yes, sir. I think they got that message. But,
okay, go for that's great.
But we appreciate it. We appreciate your ear, and we appreciate you taking the time to sit down and at least talk to us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, John.
Thanks for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Vice President. Greg Champagne. I am the sheriff in St. Charles Parish, Louisiana, basically a suburban community outside of New Orleans. I have the honor of representing 3,008 around the country, and you see the leadership of our organization. These are the leadership of past presidents and the future presidents of our agency. But more importantly than that, we all represent and oversee literally a few 100,000 deputy sheriffs who are truly the backbone of law enforcement in this country. We have a bumper sticker the NSA puts out that says sheriffs and deputies, the original homeland security. And so that is a force multiplier. Those men and women out there are the tip of the spear, and we stand ready to help and keep this community safe because that's what we're all elected to do. So we thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We're a great group of people. We're going to go into the Oval Office. Does anybody have anything to, not even a question, a statement as to how we can bring about law enforcement in a very good, civil, lovely way, but we have to stop crime, right? Would anybody like to make a statement?
Mr. President,
yes, sir.
On the asset forfeiture, we've got a state senator in Texas that was talking about introducing legislation to require conviction before we could receive that forfeiture money.
Can you believe that?
And I told him that the cartel would build a monument to him in Mexico if he could get that legislation.
Who's the state senator? Do you want to give his name? We'll destroy his career.
Mr. President,
Okay, thank you.
you know, we have been invited to the White House before, and we've sat at this table with the former administration. But this is totally different. Not once did the president go around the room and ask the sheriffs what were issues that were important to us, he or she, in our parts of the country, but rather it was an outgoing message about gun control, about other things. You asked us what is important to us, whether it's mental health in the jails, opioid addiction. You hit on them right off the bat. The border, immigration, vetting. We appreciate that. That has not happened before. We've been here before, but we've never had a president to sit down and listen to what it is that we're facing, representing our constituents and public safety across this country. And that's why we appreciate it. That's why we're here today with you.
Before it was scripted.
Very much.
You know, Bill Belichick is a great guy and a friend of mine, and he was telling me, but somebody told me that he'll oftentimes, when he's wanting to get a player, he'll go to the other players on the team. He'll say, what do you think of this guy? You know, they all know the different people. And he'll listen to them, and he's done very well, right? He's done very well. And essentially, that's what we're doing. You know, we're talking to the people that know. I'm not telling you, you're telling me. Like what came up this morning. I mean, that was a big statement. I didn't realize it was so all clogged. But the system's all clogged. So we're going to unclog the system. And we're going to go right now into the Oval Office. Would you like the press to come in with you, Mr. Vice President? Should we let them come in? You know, otherwise they're going to sit around waiting for the next meeting for 6 hours. They don't have such an easy job. I'll tell you. They don't have such an easy job.
Mr. President, how far are you willing to take your travel ban fight?
Oh, we're going to take it through the system. It's very important. It's very important for the country, regardless of me or whoever succeeds at a later date. I mean, we have to have security in our country. We have to have the ability. When you take some place like Syria, you take all of the different people pouring on me. And if you remember, ISIS said, we are going to infiltrate the United States and other countries through the migration. And then we're not allowed to be tough on the people coming in. Explain that. So we'll see what happens. We have a big court case. We're well represented. And we're going to see what happens.
Is it going to go to the Supreme Court, you think?
Good. And we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't happen. It's common sense. You know, some things are law, and I'm all in favor of that. And some things are common sense. This is common sense.
Mr. President, if it's unreported or underreported, unreported is a phrase you used yesterday, but if it's underreported, why do you think the media is not reporting or Americans?
Well, I happen to think.
Hearing about this,
I don't have to think. I have to know because I'm reported on possibly more than anybody in the world. I don't think you'll say anything about that. I happen to know how dishonest the media is. I happen to know that stories about me that should be good or bad. You know, I don't mind a bad story if it's true, but I don't like bad stories. Stories that should be a positive story, when they make them totally negative. I understand the total dishonesty of the media better than anybody, and I let people know it. I mean, the media is a very, very dishonest arm, and we'll see what happens. Not everybody, and I have to say that. I always preface it by saying, not everybody. But there's tremendous dishonesty, pure outright dishonesty from the media. Let's go into the White House.
Right, so you see Trump bringing down the hammer on the Latins, and not only Latins, the immigrants from other nations too. So let me see. We'll see. One second. All right. Seeing as Trump is coming down, it's like seeing as Trump is coming down on these Latins, as you can see, he signed in executive orders, to back up, his statements that he made and what's to come. Because these Latins might rise up after shootouts with the police and stuff. So they're trying to bring that hammer down like how it's going on in Mexico. It says Trump signs executive orders targeting drug cartels, attacks on police officers, and crime reduction. President Donald Trump has signed 3 new executive orders aimed at targeting drug cartels, creating a task force to reduce crime and stopping crimes against law enforcement officers. It says the move came after Jeff Sessions was sworn in as Attorney General. In his first act as head of the Department of Justice, Sessions presented the 3 executive orders to Trump. I'm signing 3 executive actions today designed to restore safety in America, Trump said. Very important. All very important. Very important. All very important. During the swearing-in ceremony, Sessions said rising crime was a dangerous, permanent trend in the U.S. and promised to end this lawlessness of illegal immigration. The White House did not provide copies of the executive orders, nor was there any explanation given regarding what they would do. Trump only listed their titles: enforcing federal law with respect to the transitional crime organizations and preventing international trafficking. Right. So as you can see, he's targeting the Latins, which represents the 12 tribes of Israel. And that's the Lord bringing that hammer down on their ass. It's like because they didn't want to hear the word, and because of all the idols that they worship. Let me get a scripture. Not only is they being targeted, these immigrants are being targeted too. See, he lumping everybody in with this legislation. This is First Peter chapter 4, verse 17. It says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High." Right, and that's Israel, man, starting with the elect. "And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?" Right, and as you can see, this is part of their end. The government coming down on them, and it's going to be a lot of deaths going on behind these legislations that's being passed, man. It says, I'm gonna start back at the top where it says enforcing federal law with respect. Oh, sorry, nope. I'm gonna start back at the White House. It says the White House did not provide copies of the executive orders, nor was there any explanation given regarding what they would do. Trump only listed their titles: enforcing federal law with respect to the transitional criminal organizations and preventing international trafficking, task force on crime reduction and public safety, and preventing violence against federal, state, tribal, and local law enforcement officials. It says the president signed the orders in the Oval Office as Vice President Mike Pence Sessions and the Attorney General's wife looked on. All right, man. So Jake is being persecuted. These Latins are being persecuted. Not only Issachar, though, because Issachar is not the only person that comes across that border illegally. You got the Panama Canal. You got Zebulon, Slakia. You got Zebulon that come across the border. You know. Yeah. Zebulon, Guatemala, the Guatemalans, so on and so forth. If you watch Netflix, I think I forget exactly what it's called. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because they, explain all that. Okay, you got one that's titled Border Security. Yeah, that's not the one. It was another one, but that one was good also. There was another one that was basically stating, how the Latins try to sneak in through the border, but not just the Mexicans. You got the Guatemalans, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna have to find that season. I think it's the season. But yeah. So yeah, man. Trump coming down on the Latins and the immigrants all together. So, but that's it for this lesson. All praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles everywhere, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth with sincerity. Shalom.